Ano po?
They penalize din kapag nakikita lang
Okay.
peke yung ano.
So what about the shares, the number of shares? Di ba sabi nila may nag-viral. Can that also be monetized? Do they pay you for a certain number of shares?
No.
Sa views pa rin po. Pag mas maraming shares, it would lead to more views. So views pa rin.
So ibig sabihin, hindi nagmamatter whether nag-viral siya o hindi. Basta as long as meron ng pre-arranged agreement that you have reached a certain requirement in terms of followers, organic ito, and then you have also agreed on their requirements for you to get money from all the contents that you upload. Tama po ba yung pagkaintindi ko?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Basta mas marami pong views, mas malaki po yung kita.
Okay, so normally sa YouTube po yung mga vloggers na to.
Marami po sa YouTube.
So, Mr. Chair, I hope that the ICT and whatever law enforcement agencies are involved, but I hope you can finally get to the bottom of this, and perhaps we can use all those information that you gather to probably help this committee in coming up with the measure so that we can not only protect sabi ko nga ni mga kasamahan ko dito, not only to protect the narrative based on truth and facts, but as well as to protect not individual rights, but also to protect our collective rights to exist as a nation. Kasi feeling ko that's where they will also infiltrate and then probably attack, threaten our democracy. Sabi nga kanina, yun ang napag-uusapan, because democracy will be not really fully functional if it's based on falsehood and truth, if we are propagating falsehood instead of upholding the truth and correct information. Mr. Chair, let me go to more personal level po na concern. Mr. Chair, I heard earlier, may I ask Ms. Malou Tiquia, we're friends on Facebook, pero na-deactivate ko na po yung personal Facebook because I've been receiving all these attacks. So I prefer to maintain my sanity rather than engage in trolls, paid trolls, and bashers. You've mentioned about code of ethics. I guess Congressman Paulo Ortega mentioned in his closing remarks kanina po na there seems to be apparent lack of decency in how we engage ourselves, communicate ourselves, and make connections with others in this online community. You also mentioned about code of ethics kasi alam ko in brochures and periodicals and even the mainstream media, what they have is they have editorials. Now, before they come out with a certain news item, they have to pass through the editorial. Kailangan i-assess, kailangan makita, ma-vet kung totoo ba talaga yung mga information na ilalabas nila. Kasi magkaiba po yung sa opinion writers, as you are part of that, yung mga op-ed, mga opinion writers, and from news reporting, di ba? In this case po sa social media mga platforms, there seems to be a mixture between news reporting and opinions, di ba? Kaya nga sinasabi ko, there's a hair-splitting difference na between opinion and opinions who are actually parang offering an alternative facts, di ba? Parang ganun na nangyari. You mentioned about code of ethics. There seems to be a lack of it. We all agree on that. Can you expound to us how we could be able to probably help this committee in formulate? Kasi yun talaga din po ang nakikita ko. And without this standard of protocols o standard of ethics, talagang tama po yung sinabi ni Sir, na mukhang ang mga Pilipino ngayon, mas nag-i-enjoy sila doon sa pakikipagsamurahan online. No? And unfortunately, that's now the culture online Kasi you can actually hide behind that veneer na hindi ka makikilala. So whatever you want to say, you can say it. Hindi ka naman nagmumura sa bahay nyo, pero pag nandun ka, iba yung personality mo sa online. Hindi ba? So what standard, can you expound on that? Because it actually caught my attention. This issue really is not only a policy direction, it's not a policy debate. This is also a mixture of policy debate and valid judgment debate. Ito pang nag-uusapan natin dito. So I would like to you to expound on that and maybe help us kung paano natin maka-formulate kung ano yung code of ethics na po pwedeng applicable sa online community.
Mr. Chairman, Congressman Adiong, probably you can situate the formulation of a code of ethics through crowdsourcing. So everyone gets to contribute their sense because it's actually community policing. The other thing that I would want to bring out is that yung konsepto ng first to report, that actually drives engagement.
Ano po yung first to report?
First to report. For example, may nangyayari yung hearing dito, una mong na-vlog, una mong nasabi, then everyone will be going to you and listening to you. So there are nuances in the ecosystem of the social media that is very important for everyone to understand. And I would rather suggest that a draft be formulated and made public, so you crowdsource things. So it is not stifling the rights, the freedoms, but essentially telling everyone, oh, ito yung 12 rules natin. What do you think? Kasi mahirap pong manggaling sa akin, yun yung lalabas na naman is value judgment and the biases. All of us have our own biases and we may consider it as value judgment, others might consider it as an affront to their belief system. So I would rather that code of ethics emanate from the community
itself.
Yeah.
So what you're saying po, Mr. Chairman, Ms. Tiquia, is that okay. So what you're saying po, kasi dun po sa mga sa mainstream media, di ba meron po silang KBP?
Yes.
Di ba? Kilusan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Yes,
Tama
sir.
po ba? And meron sila pong sariling sanction. Within their community, nagkakaroon they
Policing
adopted a
the
certain criteria, standard of ethics. In the case of the vloggers right now, wala po ba, Mr. Gamboa? Wala po kayong ganon where the vloggers, your community, come together and maybe, agree that there's certain ethical standard that we need to at least maintain and uphold, and wala pong ganong klaseng
Wala po, Mr. Chair. Kasi po, marami pong efforts before na subukang ipaggrupo yung mga vloggers. Kaso po, politically divided po, mahirap eh. Hindi mo pagsasama yung admin na vloggers sa mga DDS na vloggers ngayon dahil medyo magkalaban sila online. And yung nasabi niyo po kanina na pinatay niyo yung, you deactivated your Facebook dahil ang dami. Yun po yung goal nila eh. Ang goal nila is yung anyone na dissenting opinion from them, they will barrage, they will bully, hanggang mag-off po ng page para hindi na po mag-post online. So, ang goal po kasi talaga minsan is mambully.
to silence and censor.
To silence and censor.
individual.
So, hanggat hindi sila lumalagpas doon sa linya na libelous, mahirap pong kontrolin talaga minsan yung pambubuli nila.
So would it be impossible? Would you think that it would be impossible for your community to gather together and maybe come up? Would it be impossible?
Hindi naman po impossible.
Okay.
Pero it would take a lot of hard work to come together. And kaya ako po, personally, yung mga hindi umattend na DDS, marami po doon kaibigan ko. Kasi nahihiwalay ko yung trabaho namin doon sa personal na friendship. Yung iba po kasi hindi eh. Kapag nandun ka sa kabilang side, kaaway ka namin kahit sa personal na buhay.
Ma'am, Miss Malou, what's the difference between your experience po as a opinion writer, no? I suspect that the vlogging is also, in ano lang eh, mas visual lang eh, hindi siya written eh. What's the difference between in your experience as an opinion writer? Papasok po ba yan, or before you come out or publish your piece, your article, hindi yan, dumadaan pa ba yan sa editorials?
Yes, sir. Dumadaan ho sa editorial, and then you have to conform with the number of words.
Yeah.
If you do mainstream media, that's 800 to 900 words. In online, you need to cut it to 300 because of the attention span. And then, even the phraseology is very much different. Op-ed writing is more formal. blogging is colloquial and to a certain degree uses a different way of communication. It may not even be strategic communication or messaging. You're just right.
Okay. Sa itong pong mga vlogging, which social media platforms do vloggers use? Kasi may Facebook yan, di ba? May real time pa yan. When you say vlogging, kasi may nakikita po ako, may mga microphone sila, may mga background sila. Insa naman, real time, tapos nakikita mo yung mga comments, pero accordingly, sa kanila is vlogging yon. So can we categorize also what type of vlogging do we speak here? And which social media platforms do they normally upload their videos? Kasi sabi po ni Ma'am Malou kanina, is that even if you're an opinion writer, you have all your articles would need to be passed through the editorials, no? And there are certain limits, words, and number of words. But in the case of blogging, may certain minutes ba yan? According to the... So ano yung mga social media accounts normally ang ginagamit na probably mas lesser yung sanction or mas lesser yung mga requirements?
Opo. Yung sa vlogging po kasi, maraming klase, hindi lang political. Yung sa amin po is political vlog. Merong lifestyle, may sports,
May food.
merong food. Ang dami pong iba-ibang klase ng vlogging. So yung political vlogging po, isang aspeto lang yan. Lahat po yan monetize, pwedeng kumita. Yung political vlogging, dyan po problema.
So saan po nila ginagamit normally? Sinasabi mong nanomonetize yung mga pinalabas nila na-upload nila mga videos. Which social media accounts do they normally upload their videos?
Okay. So ito po, yung YouTube po, for how many, almost a decade now, yun po ang main na talagang merong monetization for vloggers. Yung Facebook, for a time, mataas yung kanyang monetization, kaya ang daming nag-Facebook vlogging. Ang problema po, mga last year, binabaan ni Facebook yung monetization for vlogs. So, hindi na ganun kadami.
How do you monetize that? I mean, do you need certain, based on likes?
Based on views po. Kasi po, yung mga videos namin, papasukan ni Facebook at ni YouTube ng video, ng commercials, hati kami dun sa babayad ng commercial.
So paano what's the mechanics in terms of the payment? How do you do that?
Iuhulog po nila monthly.
Monthly, so
Opo.
meron kang bangko.
May competition sila, ito yung kinita mo this month, iuhulog ko after a few weeks.
So normally po, YouTube sila
YouTube po, ganun po, tuloy-tuloy po. Merong kinikita monthly, tas iuhulog a few weeks after.
Okay. Tapos that's the social media platform.
Yes
na,
po.
Doon
Yung sa
sila
TikTok
usually
po,
nag-vlog.
wala pong monetization masyado, halos yung mga vlogs. Wala po. Pero ang pinagkaiba kasi sa TikTok, mas nagva-viral yung mga posts. So ang daming mas makakita. Kung ang objective mo is maikalat yung iyong politiko or yung advocacy, sa TikTok po, mas naikakalat po nila. Kaso wala pong monetization yung mga
TikTok?
videos. Opo.
Wala silang. Yes, Ma'am Malou.
Sir, if I may, just to correct the impression, monetization, you really have to conform with the requirements. So, hindi yun immediate. If you reach a certain number of followers or views, they will trigger an instruction to you, monetize. So it's up to you to monetize or not. In my case, in my personal Facebook page, I have received letter from Facebook online asking me if I want to monetize. And there are several requirements. You have to get your TIN, you have to... It's so tedious that I do not monetize. In Facebook, again, it's the views. If, for example, you run 10-seconder, 30-seconder, and you get a high of, let's say, 1,000 to 2,000, you need to, again, register. But they will come up with your, ito na yung nasa iyo, but you cannot get this, it is only part because you need to register. So not everyone is knowledgeable of the need to register. The other way of earning is to send hearts, stars. So, I mean, it's a very intricate manner so that if you have free time and you don't have a job, It's the easiest. And you love talking, you love taking videos. That's the easiest. So now you have Generation Alpha really on it. The difference in TikTok is that they can grab any content, even from mainstream media, and repurpose it as their content without copyright violation.
Okay, so yes, gusto ko lang po itanong, 'di ba kanina sabi nyo, there are also the process where you get money from your uploads and your contents is based on views and based on followers, hindi ba? Ito sa mga followers, halimbawa sa Facebook, yung Facebook ba, they don't care whether these followers are AI operated or mga trolls ito, basta as long as you've reached a certain number of followers?
Sir, actually,
or organic ito?
makikita ng Meta yan.
So,
That's why they have that analytics. If you open your page, there is a dashboard where you can see the analytics, and they can break it into who is following, from where, etc., etc. Specifically on marketplace. That's why I was questioning the issue put forth by the chairman on the need for the platform organizations to be present, because in marketplace they are earning from the Philippine market. And recently Congress passed a law on digital payments where you impose certain tax on Netflix, on digital purchases, and that is where you would have seen the total income they have from our market. So it is very important when you meet the platform organizations that they reveal their books, because that is the only way you can regulate.
So they know.
Listen.
So this social media operators, they know kung organic ba talaga yung mga followers mo or hindi.
Nakikita yon, nakikita nila. Kaya nag-change ng algorithm eh.
Okay. So, ngayon, ano po?
They penalize din kapag nakikita lang peke yung ano.
So what about the shares, the number of shares? Di ba sabi nila may nag-viral? Can that also be monetized? Do they pay you for a certain number of shares?
No.
Sa views pa rin po. Pag mas maraming shares, it would lead to more views. So views pa rin.
So ibig sabihin, hindi nagmamatter whether nag-viral siya o hindi, basta as long as meron ng pre-arranged agreement na you have reached a certain requirement in terms of followers, organic ito, and then you have also agreed on their requirements for you to get money from all the contents that you upload. Tama po ba yung pagkaintindi ko?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Diba mas marami pong views, mas malaki po yung kita.
Okay, so normally sa YouTube po yung mga vloggers na to.
Marami po sa YouTube.
Okay, man. So Mr. Chair, the reason why I'm asking this is, I guess it's very important that apart from inviting political vloggers, there's also a need for us to get representation and perhaps to invite the social media platforms. I believe you have already sent them invitation, but I guess it's imperative for this committee to really find out kung paano po tayo mag-jive with our law enforcement agencies, with our vloggers, kasi the only way for us to really regulate itong operation ng mga ganitong klaseng platforms or ganitong klaseng content na hindi makakasira sa reputasyon ng bawat, hindi lang politician, bawat po tao, even negosyo, kasi nagkakaroon din po ng market war, diba? Gumagamit po sila ng mga fake news, hindi lang sa politika, even sa mga negosyo nagsisiraan po sila, is for this committee and for the social media operators and platforms to be in same page po sa gusto natin ipa-abot at gusto nating i-enact na mga regulations, mga regulatory laws po. Mr. Chair, with that, Mr. Chair, gusto ko lang pong for my final manifestation, Mr. Chair, gusto ko lang pong sabihin sa ating mga vloggers na we are not running after you. Kasi kanina po ang sabi po ni Congresswoman Franz Castro ay some of our guests here went to the Supreme Court and then to file a petition for certiorari, questioning probably the power of this committee to conduct an investigation. Do not take this personal because we're not running after you. We are actually trying because social media platforms and the cyberspace. This is an emerging industry and community. And for every industry, if it's not regulated, if it's not restricted, then tama po yung sinabi po ng aking mga kasamahan, talagang it is bound to be abused and exploited. Ayaw naman natin na at the end of the day, tayo yung magsisisi. So, just to our message to all our guests who did not appear in this committee, I'd like to guarantee to you na hindi po kami, we're not running after you individually. We want your participation. We want you to give us your input so that we can craft a more responsive piece of legislation para maiwasan po natin yung pag-proliferate po ng hindi tama at maling balita po sa publiko. Marami pong salamat, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity. Thank you, Ms. Tiquia, and thank you,
Thank you, Congressman
Mr. Novo.
Adiong.
Thank you.
The last